Hello, this is Tracy reading to you from the Somerset Spectator for this week on April 10th, 2025. From the front page, Edaville and King Richard's Fair sold. What's next? By Hannah Morse, The Patriot Ledger. Big things are in the works for two Carver entertainment giants, Edaville Family Theme Park and King Richard's Fair. The Renaissance Festival, which moved from Wisconsin to Carver in 1982, will now take place at Edaville, a spokesperson for King Richard's Fair confirmed to the Patriot Ledger on Friday. The season begins August 30th, and Amy Shapiro Sedley will continue on as producer and general manager. Cast auditions are already happening, and tickets for the fair are on sale. Edaville, as it was, will be no more. Most of the amusement rides at Edaville will be up for auction on April 30th, according to a flyer from Norton of Michigan Auctioneers. Auctioned items also include animated dinosaur statues and a shooting gallery. The new owner will be keeping the larger trains that travel around the park, auctioneer Dan Satow said. The flyer notes that the purpose of the auction is due to retheming and redesign of this successful park. All the rides must be off the site by May 15th. Who bought King Richard's Fair and Edaville? A web of Delaware limited liability companies under the name of Lancelot Entertainment Boston has acquired both Edaville and King Richard's Fair over the last several months. The stated purpose of business listed by one of the Lancelot Entertainment companies is, quote, operation of Renaissance Fair/festivals and investments. How much did Edaville sell for? According to a deed, Lancelot Entertainment Edaville Real Estate Holdings purchased Edaville's nearly 250 acres surrounding 5 Pine Street on February 19th for $8.7 million. Edaville, named after cranberry grower Ellis D. Atwood, started as a cranberry farming operation in 1947. And transformed into a hands-on historical steam locomotive experience. But in recent years, the park struggled financially and was even considered for redevelopment. There are at least 3 other Lancelot-branded liabilities under the main umbrella. 3 managers of these companies currently or formerly worked for a Boston-based private equity firm. The firm told the Patriot Ledger it is not affiliated with Lancelot. King Richard's Fair duel in court. Meanwhile, a lease dispute shakes out in federal court. Lancelot purchased King Richard's Fair in August 2024. The amount was not immediately clear. The company was in the midst of lease negotiations with 235 Main Street landowner Alphonse D'Amico ahead of the 2025 season, which will run for 8 consecutive weekends from August 30th through October 19th. But a week after closing on Edaville, Lancelot sued D'Amico over King Richard's Fair, alleging a scheme to unlawfully seize the business for himself and put together a competing event, according to a complaint filed in Massachusetts District Court. This is akin to forcing the Rockettes out of Radio City Music Hall, then hiring a ragtag bunch of amateur dancers to stage an imitation Christmas spectacular under the same branding, the complaint said. King Richard's Fair started more than 4 decades ago, ultimately becoming the longest-running Renaissance fair in the region. It has been held at 235 Main Street since 2000, leased on 80 acres of land owned by D'Amico. The property includes permanent structures. On February 20th, Lancelot said it was blindsided when D'Amico ended lease negotiations, and a week later changed the locks on the company's office, trailers, and kitchen, the complaint said. Lancelot and D'Amico agreed on a plan for the company to remove its personal property, according to an amended complaint. The company alleges D'Amico violated parts of the Lanham Act, which established a system for trademark registration, breach of the implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing, as well as tortious interference with business relationships and contractual relations. The case is ongoing. The Patriot Ledger attempted to contact representatives for Edaville, King Richard's Fair, and Lancelot Entertainment. Calls and emails were not immediately returned. In sports, New Bedford High Volleyball determined to prove it's among the top teams in the state by Laurie Luce Lee, the Standard Times. New Bedford, losing in the second round of the MIAA Division I playoffs last year after a perfect regular season, was on Davin Santillo's mind a lot during the off-season. People really doubted us, saying 20-0 for nothing. But we just keep our heads high and go out there, said Santillo, one of 15 seniors on New Bedford High's boys volleyball team this spring, determined to prove their critics wrong. So far, so good for the Whalers. With Wednesday's 3-0 sweep of rival GNB Voc Tech in the City Challenge Cup, New Bedford improved to 5-1. The lone loss came in the Whalers' season opener to Needham, which was a Division I state finalist in 2024. It was helpful to start with Needham, said New Bedford head coach Ben Cottrell. To see what we look like against the best in the state was huge. We can critique them right off the first match until the playoff time when we're playing a top 10 team. They've seen some high-level ball in the offseason, and they've seen some high-level ball the last couple of years, so I think they expect to play well. Our local government and school board meetings getting too long. By Emily Sherney, The Herald News. Public meetings where citizens are invited and free to express their views and opinions are sites of democracy at play in municipal government. But the often notable length of these meetings and the number of articles up for discussion could also discourage some people willing to engage civically. Monthly meetings of the Fall River Public School Committee average 3 hours, with many attendees leaving the audience before the meeting ends. School committee member Shelley Pereira noted the length of the committee's full-body meeting during a parent and community outreach subcommittee meeting on February 26th, calling the meetings excessively long, inappropriate, and taking up an exorbitant amount of time. Other members on the school board have a different point of view, saying some meetings require thorough questioning and discussion and are democracy at work. Our local meetings getting too long. School committee member Thomas Corey recalled his 30 years as an educator, quote, on the inside. He's serving his third term on the school board. We've always been inclusive and transparent with the public, he said, but at times discretion is used. Corey said he's very proud of the school board's record and dedication to serving students, but said when it comes to the length of school committee meetings, no, I'm not happy with the length of the meetings. Corey cited Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 71, within which there are rules that govern school councils to have focused agendas and discussion. In November 2023, a town meeting in Swansea with a $53 million municipal complex on the agenda stretched to 4 hours, with a 90-minute recess just to allow citizens to enter the jam-packed venue at Venus de Milo. It was such a laborious undertaking that a local artist made T-shirts to commemorate the occasion, reading, "I survived the Swansea town meeting." In Somerset, school committee member Victor Machado has submitted a petition for the town's consideration on holding town meetings to a 4-hour time limit and to bar any new article from being heard after 10:15 p.m. Most people have to go home to work the next day, he said in an interview with the Herald News. A few factors at play may contribute to late-night meetings. Unlike the Fall River City Council, which meets every 2 weeks, the city's school committee meets less frequently with members, there to do a thorough job, said school committee member Kevin Aguirre. School committee member Colin Diaz agreed. There are a few factors at play here. There is a lot of business to get to. I don't mind the long meetings. It's what I signed up for, and I love the job in serving the community. We have extensive deliberation because there is passion for our city, he said. Dialogue among members prompts questions, said Diaz, and those answers, often with input from other municipal officers, help maintain public transparency and are cornerstones of our democracy and are the cornerstones of good government, Diaz said. Once monthly dialogue heard by the full panel may only be partly to blame for long meetings. Corey pointed out that, quote, we all serve on 3 subcommittees at least, and the subcommittees meet accordingly. In March, Corey said he's attended 2 subcommittee meetings, 2 special meetings, and a regular school committee meeting. Town meetings in Somerset face concerns of a lack of public participation. Machado said Somerset town meetings run extremely long. Town meetings have historically run for 4, sometimes 6 hours. My concern is people will come to a meeting, and once it's too long, they go home, leaving the final 40 to 60 people making decisions that impact the town, Machado said. Town meeting is a great form of government, but the current way that we're going is broken. Part of his petition would have a quorum mandating at least 100 citizens be present to vote on and discuss articles. That represents about 1% of Somerset's registered voters. If fewer than 100 people are in attendance, he said, no action should be taken. Machado said typically 400, but anywhere between 300 and 500 residents turn out for the meetings. But that number dwindles to double digits as the clock keeps ticking. Machado said keeping the meeting moving along, including limiting repetitive or tangential discussion, is the job of the town moderator. He added that if a meeting runs over the time limit, another meeting will be necessary to address remaining articles. Everyone should have the right to hear themselves or be able to speak their mind at town meeting, he said, with limitations on how long a citizen is at the mic. Board members, said Machado, could filibuster until attendees leave early, thereby driving down the number of votes. He added that senior citizens hesitant to drive at night may affect attendance. For the last town meeting, the Council on Aging provided free bus service for the elderly, but no one requested a ride. The town meeting held on Saturday, February 8th, worked well, Machado said, but not better than its usual Monday night. Machado recalled that the turnout was the same, though numbers may have been affected by the Super Bowl the day after. But, Machado said, he believes it's the items on the agenda that truly draw a crowd. Machado's petition will be determined at the next town meeting in May. 3 plead not guilty in Swansea underage sex trafficking sting operation. What's next? By Dan Medeiros, The Herald News. Fall River. 2 men are being held in jail, and a Westport man is out on bail after being arraigned on underage sex charges Wednesday, following a human trafficking sting operation. David J. Afriyi, 19, of Pawtucket, Joseph Wood, 38, of Hanson, and Manuel R. Costa, 39, of Westport, were arrested Tuesday in an undercover operation in Swansea. Afriyi is charged with enticement of a child under 16 with intent to commit indecent assault or rape, a felony, and paying for sex and attempting to commit a crime, both misdemeanors. Wood and Costa are charged with enticement of a child under 16 with intent to commit indecent assault or rape and paying for sex with a child under 18, both felonies, and attempting to commit a crime, a misdemeanor. All 3 pleaded not guilty before Judge Heath Antonio in Fall River District Court. Underage human trafficking sting in Swansea. As part of the operation, an undercover officer posed as someone under the age of 16. Swansea Police said the department division collaborated with the State Police High-Risk Victims Unit and Somerset detectives in a sting operation designed to target people seeking to pay for sex with minors. Swansea Police alleged that on Tuesday, 3 suspects went to a designated meeting spot in Swansea, believing they would meet a minor and have sex. As part of the operation, an undercover officer posed as someone under the age of 16. The 3 suspects, identified as Afriyi, Wood, and Costa, were arrested. Next for the suspects. Costa posted $5,000 bail and was released. He was ordered not to have unsupervised conduct with unrelated children under 18 as part of his bail release. Afriyi and Wood were ordered committed to the Bristol County House of Correction in lieu of posting bail. Per Massachusetts general laws, the felony charge of enticing a child is punishable for up to 5 years in state prison. A felony charge of paying for sex with a child under 18 is punishable by up to 10 years in state prison. Afriye is due back in court March 18th for a pretrial hearing. Wood's next court date is March 18th for a probable cause hearing. Costa will return March 14th for a pretrial hearing. For the fourth time, Somerset votes on fluoride in their drinking water. How safe is it? By Dan Medeiros, The Herald News. For the fourth time in less than 2 years, Somerset voters have defeated a controversial citizens' petition that would have removed fluoride from the town's water supply. At a special town meeting held Saturday morning at Somerset Berkeley Regional High School, voters were asked whether they favored having the town seek an exemption from state law governing the fluoridation of drinking water. The item failed 192 votes to 154. The article, originally second to last on the meeting warrant, was second to be discussed after Selectman Jameson Souza successfully moved to have it heard much earlier in the lineup with more citizens present, bringing the matter before voters about 20 minutes into what wound up a 4-hour, 30-minute event. This article has been in front of us many times, and it's always been at the end of the meeting, Souza said. I feel it should be heard with the majority of the public here at the meeting. Discussion of fluoride in Somerset water was limited. Only a handful of citizens were able to speak either for or against fluoridation before discussion was closed. Among them, Sandra Kronauer Mitra, a retired biology teacher, who said it was imperative that the town continue adding fluoride to its water supply. It benefits the general public as it helps to prevent tooth decay in the general population, she said. As I have said previously, people of my generation are going to be the first generation in history to die with all of our teeth. Other speakers spoke in opposition, including Amy Rigtrup, who said she feels she has seen an increase of neurological disorders like dementia, Parkinson's disease, and multiple sclerosis. I can't say directly it's from fluoride, she said, but said environmental toxins could be to blame and suggested the town remove fluoride to protect our health. Town moderator Lucia Casey made it clear that per the language of the article, we're not banning anything at this point. We're sending it to the legislature and having the legislature ban it. That's the way it works. When one speaker asked to hear from the town water department, Casey also noted that that was not within the purview of the article. With a voice vote too close to call, a standing vote count was taken. As those opposed to the article stood, the crowd became audibly agitated, and Casey had one person ejected from the auditorium. Somerset fluoride ban has failed 4 times. Somerset voters have heard the same or nearly the same article 3 times before. Previous petitions, all by Elizabeth Peskowski, made their way onto the annual town meeting agenda in May 2023, the special town meeting agenda in November 2023, and the annual town meeting in May 2024. The previous 3 votes failed by 54 to 80 votes, 20 to 53 votes, and 20 to 37 votes. Saturday's vote represents the largest vote Somerset voters have taken on the fluoridation issue in recent years. The issue arrives as Robert F. Kennedy, Jr., who has claimed without scientifically valid evidence that fluoride in U.S. water systems has been linked to a host of medical conditions, is Secretary of Health and Human Services under President Donald Trump. Kennedy has promised to remove fluoride from water supplies nationwide. Fluoride has been added to Somerset's water supply since 1968. In entertainment, tourism season started a little early. New Bedford restaurants see uptick from new train. By Seth Chitwood, The Standard Times. New Bedford. The newly opened South Coast Rail connecting New Bedford to Boston is already showing its impact, particularly at local establishments in the downtown restaurant scene. At Candela Cucina, General Manager Peter Biondi has also observed an increase in visitors, in which he has linked directly to the new service. I think that what we've seen is just a little bit more tourism, because we ran a special with the Whaling Museum where if they show us their ticket the same day, they get 20% off. And I've seen an uptick in those, he said. Having experienced the train himself, Biondi is enthusiastic about its potential for the downtown restaurant scene. Experience. I mean, it runs smoothly. It was pretty easy to find everything. Really promising. The influx of visitors has also shifted the guests attracted to Candela slightly. Increase in tourists around the lower areas of downtown New Bedford. It's more touristy, but it's people that are coming from the downtown area, he said, comparing this trend to his past experiences working in Aspen, where visitors sought a different aspect of the area beyond its main attractions. I'd say the tourism season started a little early, he said. It feels like summer started a little bit early. Last weekend was probably one of our busiest, whether that was due to weather or the train. At the Black Whale, the restaurant has also noticed an increase in tourists that have mentioned they took the train into New Bedford. I have family, friends, and coworkers who have been using the train. It has a ridiculous amount of flexibility, said Will Silverstein, general manager. I think that I could see people with some homes or who have family who live here and live in Boston being down here much more frequently, particularly in the spring and the fall. Dartmouth Mall continues to thrive as other malls close. What's the secret to success? Seth Chitwood, The Standard Times, Dartmouth. As many malls are closing down across America, the Dartmouth Mall continues to stand as a modern retail success. The mall's secret seemingly lies in its strategic approach to community engagement and embracing new trends in guest experience. We really take advantage of a tremendous location, said Sean Linehan, Vice President of Leasing for Priet, which owns the mall. Being right at the epicenter of a tight market allows us to remain accessible and appealing. As Dartmouth Mall stands as a testament of time, its fellow neighboring malls have closed its doors. Swansea closed, Silver City Galleria closed, said Michael Alfonso, General Manager of the Dartmouth Mall. But we've been able to build up our own asset and be literally the only mall within a reasonable distance. The expansion of dining and entertainment options has also increased dwell time for visitors. AMC and new eateries, such as a recently refurbished Panera and soon-to-open Cinnabon, ensure the mall remains a destination beyond shopping. If you look at the vision for many centers today, it's about fulfilling all daily needs: live, work, shop, play, dine, all in one place. Dartmouth Mall has embraced this concept wholeheartedly, Linehan said. Aha Night. Project Planet kicks off with procession and Film Festival Awards on April 10th. By Beth McDermott, AI-assisted reporter. New Bedford. Aha Night Project Planet is set to bring creativity and sustainability to the forefront in New Bedford on April 10th, according to a community announcement. The event will begin at 5:15 p.m. at the corner of Market and Pleasant Streets with the Project Planet procession. Organized by UMass Dartmouth and the Greater New Bedford Regional Refuse Management District, the procession will follow the crowning of this year's Mother Earth and Father Ocean. Ashley Brister, Farm Director of Sharing the Harvest Community Farm, will be named Mother Earth, while Mark LaValle, a volunteer with several environmental organizations, will be honored as Father Ocean. Hip-hop artist Tem Blessed will host the event, joined by New Bedford Mayor John Mitchell, who was crowned Father Ocean in 2018. The City of New Bedford is unwavering in its commitment to supporting a more sustainable future, and we couldn't do it without the efforts of AHA and numerous volunteers, Mitchell said. Events like these promote our city's core values, and I encourage everyone to participate. The procession will start at Market and Pleasant Streets, proceed along William Street to Acushnet Avenue, then turn onto Union Street and back to Pleasant Street, finishing where it began. After the procession, The opening night award ceremony for the second annual New Bedford Film Festival will take place at Steeple Playhouse. Miss Smith will perform for attendees, and Domino's Team New Bedford will provide free pizza. Free popcorn will also be available at the drawing room. Under travel, Real ID deadline is under 1 month away. Just 50% of Mass residents have it. How to Get Yours by Melina Khan, USA Today Network, New England. If you've been putting it off, now is the time to get your Real ID. Domestic flight travelers will be required to have a Real ID seal on their identification card or driver's license beginning May 7th, unless they choose to use an accepted alternative form of ID for traveling. That's under 1 month away. Here in Massachusetts, residents need to renew their license with the Registry of Motor Vehicles to be Real ID compliant. About 50% of active credentials in the state are currently compliant, an RMV spokesperson said. That means lots of people could be scrambling to book appointments in the coming weeks. To update your license or ID to a Real ID, you'll have to book an in-person appointment at either an RMV office or AAA branch for members. Appointments for both can be scheduled online. Residents need to bring 4 required documents to their Real ID appointment. They are proof of citizenship or lawful residence, such as a passport or original birth certificate, proof of Social Security number, such as a Social Security card or a W-2 form, and 2 proofs of Massachusetts residence, such as your lease or mortgage or utility bills. A full list of acceptable documents is available on the RMV website. Under food, National Grilled Cheese Day, Where to Get Your Favorite Comfort Food on the South Coast, by Faith Harrington, The Standard Times. National Grilled Cheese Day is happening Saturday, April 12th. It's not hard to find a delicious grilled cheese sandwich in the greater New Bedford area. We've found some of the best spots to satisfy your cravings. They include 6s and 7s at 7 South 6th Street, New Bedford, Destination Soups at 149 Union Street, New Bedford, Cask and Pig Kitchen and Ale House at 780 State Road, North Dartmouth, Moby Dick Brewing Company, 16 South Water Street, New Bedford, Fathoms Bar and Grill, Inc. at 255 Pope's Island, New Bedford, Farm and Coast Market at 7 Bridge Street, South Dartmouth, Kate's Simple Eats at 148 Front Street, Marion, The Country Whip at 1173 North Main Street, Acushnet, and Toast and Jam at 2331 Acushnet Ave, New Bedford. Thank you for listening. This has been Tracy reading to you from this week's Somerset Spectator.